As far as now, I'll tell you what, it's compacting a little better than before. In fact, this has changed quite a bit. That's an award-winning snowball right there. So this is the time of the day to get outside. If you're a kid, if you're a parent of some kids, send them out to the front yard and let them have a good time making some snowmen and some snowball fights. This is the time to do it. Because I will tell you, maybe about an hour and a half ago, I tried to make a snowball and it kept falling apart in my hands. You got it? Okay, Matt, see, it stayed together. It stayed together. So Matt behind the lens there. Hey, Matt, let me see that ball again. See, that's a good-looking ball. See? Just kidding. Just kidding. So yeah, today's the time to have a good snowball fight. But in all seriousness, this is also a day to maybe be a little careful on the roads. We do know Wisconsin Avenue is looking pretty well. Sidewalks not looking too bad along Wisconsin either, and that's some good news. But there is a snow emergency here in Washington, D.C. Muriel Bowser, the mayor of D.C., issued that starting this morning. And because this is such a long-term event, it doesn't expire until Tuesday morning. So just make sure you're using caution on the roads and the sidewalks as you're moving around. And as far as timing, just remember this. It's going to switch over to rain, but don't let that be a little bit of false sense that the storm is going to be ending. It's going to switch over to rain tonight and then switch back to snow during the day tomorrow before it finally comes to an end sometime Monday and even into Tuesday. So just be very careful as you're headed out. The good news is, because of COVID, many people are still telecommuting, and that means they're going to be staying home. And that really is the best place you can be when it comes to a snowstorm. Of course, look at it out your window. Look at all the beautiful sights like we have here in D.C. with the National Cathedral. I mean, that just...
flakes, okay? And it's moving from west to east, so it's all coming into your direction. The wind will be picking up overnight, all right? And the wind gusts could top out 35, 45 miles per hour. Definitely not out of the question. Looks like forecast numbers have 50 right here in New York. Massapequa, you've got a 60 mile per hour gust potentially as we go into your Monday evening. You go into Tuesday morning now, the wind is still there. We're starting to see some mild air trying to work its way in, but it doesn't last, all right? When you talk about the battle of the cold air mass, I think the cold air mass will win out. Even if you do get a little transition, it'll go back to snow before it's done, as long as that low stays in its correct track. Because anytime that moves, it'll fluctuate all of this. So once again, here are your numbers around New York City. It's going to be pretty to see that live camera, Alex, when we got all that snow on the ground.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be such an incredible scene. Meanwhile, Boston, a little bit more uncertain about just how much it's going to stack up here. Closely watching you, because it's a really sharp gradient between going from hefty snows, double digits, to just a few inches. And that's what we are anticipating here for us in and around the city. So, yeah, this is one of those spots that is going to be critical in seeing where all that milder air kind of works its way westbound. How far inland does it make its way? That's going to determine how much snow we see there in Boston. Here's the big picture here for us. Now, the interior zones, that's where we think, as Jordan mentioned, the cold air is going to win out. We're not going to see the mild air make its way on into parts of Pennsylvania, northern Jersey, a good chunk of New York State. That's where the heavy snow will remain. But it's these areas right along the coast. That's where it gets a little trickier here, as that milder air from the Atlantic starts to move on in, and that's what erodes some of the colder air and changes us over from the snow to more of a rain and snow mix. In some cases, may even just go over to all plain old rain. There's the forecast in Boston. And right now, we're calling for, it looks like the city, I'd say 6, maybe 7 inches. That's actually been updated a bit. So starting to come in line here with maybe that cold air winning out a little more around Boston. But certainly as you work your way westbound, now we're talking about those double digits getting up over a foot. That's going to be possible. So let's play this out. We'll start you off early in the morning. The snow's starting to come on in, and that fills in throughout the day. And then as we get in towards the afternoon, there you can see some of these areas, southeastern portions of Massachusetts, getting into more rain and snow, and then all rain as we start to move into your Tuesday morning. So that's going to be around for a period of time, cutting down on some of the totals, while farther west, the snow lingers the longest, and that's why we think we'll see, again, over a foot in those locations, winding down once we start to work our way on into the evening. So again, Boston right now, we're on the edge, 6 or 7 inches of snow. Farther to the south, Hartford, pretty good bet we'll be getting into the heavier totals there. Good as you head west of the city, maybe 16, 17 inches of snow will be possible now. It's pretty quiet now. The sun is out. Chilly conditions, we're sitting right now in the lower 20s, but as that snow begins to roll on in, heading into Monday morning, we'll be in the thick of things there for a good portion of your Monday. Southern portions of Connecticut, coastal areas should get into some rain for a period of time before we transition back to some snow as we get into Tuesday late in the afternoon and into the evening hours there. Tapering off once we get to Wednesday, at least in the morning hours. But that's an area we're going to watch pretty closely there. Coastal areas off towards the east where we change over just a bit, may cut down some of those totals. But Jordan, you're looking at the winds, because those are going to crank up as well.
Yeah, we talked about gusts maybe getting as high as 50 plus miles per hour for some of your coastal locations. So let's highlight that and show you the wind forecast as we head into tonight. Atlantic City, you're one of the first locations to really get the bulk of the energy here, as you can see those 40 and 50 mile per hour gusts. That's going to work its way up the I-95 corridor, hitting places like Boston, Cape May, and you know what? That wind is going to be cranking going into your Monday, and for some of you, it'll just pick up throughout the day. Now, a big problem here is going to be coastal flooding, all right? Atlantic City, Toms River, all along the Jersey Shore, Long Island included in this, Staten Island, all the way down into Selbyville. Most of you have the warning in effect, which means we're likely to see flood issues as this storm really begins to mold as we head into tomorrow. We'll be right back.
Oh, just one.
Jake from State Farm, it's the least I can do. You really did me a solid with that, my homework done on my insurance.
Here's the deal, Maya.